I don't know how I've managed to do this.
Welcome to Torque Sport.
Hello guys, Gianni here and welcome to another video on TalkSport. Today we're going to be reviewing my Mark 1 Fabia VRS 1.9 PD130. It has a small hybrid turbo, but I'll run you through a bit more of their performance stats and specs in a little while. But yeah, it should be a fun one. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoy the video. So yes guys, there's really not that much to talk about in here really. We have a thicker gravity performance, I think, in the cooler. It has an N75 simplifier valve. It's just got an air filter, although I really need to make myself a new one of them, and I'll show you why in this next clip. But yeah, it also got tuned by Black Smoke UK, and I don't believe they exist anymore, and it's far too smoky for my liking. Injector duty is just all of it, please. But yeah, no, I want that sort, and I want a proper map where it's not just crazy smoke, because I'm not about that life. It's got the EGR and DPF solution and a JW 1752 turbo, although I do have a 56 at home, but that's for another video another time. But yeah, it's pretty clean in here. I do have a full video where I went really in depth with mods and that in my channel from maybe a month or two ago, so be sure to check that out if you want to know more details. But yeah, I mean, like I say, very basic mods. It's intercooler, EGR DPF solution, cone filter, N75 simplifier, and that's probably it off the top of my head, apart from obviously the hybrid turbo. It's got an Ultra Sport exhaust at the back, which I believe is a 2.25 inch eBay exhaust basically. But those of you that do know me, I do fabricate, so I will be making a full 2.5 inch exhaust for myself very soon, along with the intake, and I'll show you that now quickly. You can see why I want to make a new intake, because yeah, I mean, you can kind of just chuck this wherever you want really. I mean, I could make a nice hole in the bonnet and have a proper air duct, but yeah, no, that needs to go. That is pretty bodgy. But other than that, I'll show you the other clips now of the mods. But yeah, it's pretty clean. So that's about it engine performance wise. As you can see from the ride height, there really isn't a great deal of suspension mods being done, or in fact there is no suspension mods done. So that is all next on the list really, because it feels a little bit boaty. I mean, it don't handle horrifically, but it does feel a bit boaty. We do also have one upgrade on braking, which is great. Obviously it's quite important when you add performance and power to your car. But it's got an Audi TT big brake kit, which I believe is 312mm. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I do believe that's 312mm. I'll pop up here if I am wrong, but I'm certain it's 312s. But yeah, that is pretty much it now, to be fair. So I think rather than bore you with other things that aren't there, we'll just crack on with the driving. So before we get any further into the video, I just thought I'd say what I will be doing during this video is adding to our Dragy leaderboard and seeing what this car can do in the 30 to 70 region, which we test because it's the real world acceleration of what you can do on the road legally and picking up the speed. So it's interesting to know what cars' acceleration is like from them speeds. with gear changes taken into equation and everything like that. So to do that, we use the Dragy GPS box and the Dragy app, and it's really good. It's pretty accurate to within like 1 to 2 tenths. So yeah, we'll see what it can do. So stay tuned later on in that video to see what this car can do. It'll probably be midway through, 3/4 of the way through the video. But for now, on to the driving, guys. So you can probably already hear the lovely rattly plastics in this fine engineered vehicle, which does also get quite very annoying. But we don't worry about that, do we? Actually, let's go this way. So first things first, I would probably say this is like one of the most perfect cars that a young person quite into their cars could own. And by that I'm not saying that people my age, 26, and people older can't enjoy them, because you absolutely can. I think you could have fun in this no matter what age you are. But especially being really cheap to run, quite low on insurance, not that much, not expensive on tax either, but they're also really, really cheap in comparison to other cars, at least, to get good performance for your money. Now, I'd probably say all in all, to get this to where it is today, around 220-ish horsepower, it's probably wouldn't cost you from start to finish any more than £1,500 if you've done the work yourself. And to be fair, like, what else can you do for that money? This car sent me back about £1,700, and that come with an additional 1756 brand new JW turbo from Essex Turbos, and we have yet to fit that, but we're probably going to freshen the car up before I do fit that, so I'm not doing everything twice. Now, as I said, for the money, all in all about £3,000 to get a car like this to this spec. I think I was exceptionally lucky on how clean the car is underneath. I'll insert a clip here from the last video. But yeah, as you can see, the car's extraordinarily clean underneath, like generally almost doesn't look used. And you might find it hard to believe, but it is also on 166,000 miles now. So it's not a young car by any means. But yeah, apart from your old car rattles and twangs from plastics and just older suspension parts, it doesn't feel like it's done that many miles, and it doesn't feel as old as it is. Suspensions, I mean, yeah, you can tell that it's a bit wishy-washy, but it doesn't misplace you, or it doesn't feel bad. The suspension is actually fairly firm as well. Don't get me wrong, it's not bouncy and crashy like it would be if you was on coilovers. But that isn't always a bad thing on the road. It absorbs bumps really well, but it's just a little bit too body rolling for my liking. I'd like it just that tiny bit stiffer. So I think actually on probably just new OEM shocks and springs, that'd be perfect for the handling on this. It always does make you laugh. I tell you what, these cars really remind me of, and if you follow the channel you know that I love Hondas. It is literally a diesel K or B series. Like, they're fine with being a little bit abused, they're fine with hammering on, you know, they're fine with being tuned, but the difference is here with this is I can still return 40 to 60 mpgs depending on how I drive. And for a car that you want fun in and for daily use, you can't ask for much better than that. I'll tell you what, I have some sound clips here for you guys now. For a diesel, it really doesn't sound half too bad either. We'll just stick it in third now, doing 30. Just plant my foot and just see the torque. Pull you straight up to speed, effortlessly. And it does put a bit of a smile on your face doing it. Just can't believe the pickup. I know diesels obviously produce a lot more torque, but it just goes so effortlessly. And yes, this does have a popcorn map. Again, not my doing. Occasionally as well you will hear the dump from the turbo. Sounds quite nice actually. But it's also strangely one of them cars you don't really have to nail around too much to enjoy. Like, it's quite a pleasure to just commute or even just cruising. I can imagine it's quite a nice car for a decent budget to go exploring a little bit, like road trips around the country, etc. Actually would be quite a perfect and ideal car to do that on. So even in sixth now, it's not something I would recommend doing all the time for clutch and this, that and the other, but if you need to pull away a little bit to overtake or even get around something, it's easy. The pickup's actually pretty instant. So I'm actually just going to set up for our Dragy test now, and we'll see what she does. So that is the Dragy all set up. We'll have one attempt and let's see what we do. I have done this previously, so depending what number we get today, I'll put the best one up there. Now, when I originally done this, I thought it was very impressive, to be fair, and it surprised me quite a bit, especially when you compare it to some of the cars on the leaderboard. Picks up speed so nicely. So we've just stopped, pulled over, and I haven't even had a chance to look myself what we've done, so you'll look with me. I don't know how I've managed to do this, because my previous best was this, and what we have just done is this, and that is madness. The car must be loving the cold weather today. I don't know if you can quite see that in focus, but if not, I'll post a screenshot up now. 4.76. That's mental. I genuinely didn't expect that, considering that we'd done a 5 before. Absolutely madness. So yeah, that's actually quicker than my Fiesta ST. That's annoying. I do love my petrols, but tell you what, this little diesel's really growing on me. And just like that, the Fabia's really surprised me with the best time of 4.76 and only time on this day. And very impressive it is, pushing us up to second place with just 220 horsepower and a bucket load of torque. However, I thought the 5 seconds was more realistic from previous, but this was a clean run, as you can see on the Dragy app, so we'll take it. I don't really think there's all too much more for me to discuss, to be fair. My overall thoughts are, if you're thinking about getting a PD130, just make sure, and I cannot stress enough, make sure the shells are clean, because I know they're quite prone to chassis rot and this, that and the other, but as long as that's good, you can't really go wrong. They don't have that many common issues, and even if they have some small problems, parts for these are incredibly cheap and very available, because they've done these PDs in so many different cars, so you can't really go too wrong. Turbos are cheap, service parts are cheap, power's pretty cheap. What more can you want? There's a few good people you can take your car to. So far, all I've guessed and my options, you've got Skillet Turbo, and you have PD parts. I'm thinking about more going to PD parts, so I know a few people that have been there and they had pretty good experiences, and I followed their page for a little while now, and they do some really good stuff. I believe the bloke's name there is Dan, and he seems to really know his stuff, so I think hopefully we're going to go visit him when we get the rest of the work done. But like I say, I want to make sure that I'm not doing everything twice, so I'll explain a bit later on in the video, or at the end of the video, what my plans are. But generally I just want to tidy it up a bit, and just enjoy a nice, fun, reliable daily. I think if I'm being particularly fussy on this car though, and I really wanted to pick faults at it, I'd have to say that the interior isn't all that. Yeah, it's basic, and you kind of expect basic of its age, but it's very basic. The buttons are very buttony, if that makes any sense. Like, they're very clicky and old style and just feel very cheap. But that being said, there's perfect room right in the middle for a nice Apple CarPlay unit, which is exactly probably what I'm going to do very soon. The seats, they're pretty comfortable. I'm not overly keen on the style or leather that's in here at the minute, but they're comfy enough, you know, they do what they need to do. They're fairly huggy as well, like you don't roll around crazy amounts. Hopefully in the future, perhaps we will take this round a little Snetterton track day and just see what it can do for a diesel. It'd be interesting to know kind of what times you'd get out of something like this, really. So I'm going to end the video here, back in this lovely spot. First thing I'd like to say is I hope you enjoyed the video, and secondly, what are my plans for this car? So I never intended to keep or have or own this car, as you will know from the previous video I've done with this car. However, I would like to tidy it up a little bit, maybe de-chrome, you know, sort the wheels out. I'm probably going to get them refurbed real soon actually, because I do need tyres all round, so that will be probably done at the same time as that. And then, like I said, I want to do a bit of suspension, make it handle a bit better, but also it'll look a bit more pleasing to the eye if it was a bit lower and not like monster truck stance. The headlights actually as well, I want to either polish, clean up, or just buy new ones. I believe there was an option to have these with a halo, so I probably will, projector headlights, sorry, not halos. So I probably will look at getting some projector headlamps, because they look a lot tidier and they are just better at night time as well. But otherwise, I think apart from maybe just like, I don't know, your normal splitter kit and stuff, that's probably what I'll leave it. I'll leave it fairly OEM plus with a bit of performance, and that'd be perfect for me, to be fair. As you can see, the car's plenty nippy enough, but as I would have said, in the future I am going to put the 1756 turbo on and get it tuned again properly, because there's no point going through it all twice. So whilst I do have that additional turbo, I might as well add it and do it all properly. But yeah, no, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment anything you'd like to see down below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified when my new videos are out. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye for now.